How's it going today, Mauvey?
No, it's going fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate having you here today for sure. And of course, like I said, this new mixtape, this debut mixtape, The Florist, it is front to back. It is packed with incredible songs and the energy, the message that it contains is just it is. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to dive into this here today. Are you ready, Mo?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, of course, in order to get to the destination, there has to be a beginning, there has to be a start to the journey. And of course, like I mentioned, you've been doing quite a bit over these past 2 years. You've been making the most of this musical journey. And you, like we mentioned, you recently released this debut mixtape, The Florist. So anyone who knows you knows that you've been doing exactly that, working non-stop for the last 2 years. So when exactly did this latest project, The Florist, begin to take shape?
Um, I guess the idea pretty much was actually right around the 2019. The Mauvey project started then, but my musical journey started, long before then. And when 2019, I started the Mauvey project and put out the one single, I actually had quite a lot of songs, and I knew I wanted to release something. So I just kind of continued recording, and it was like the end of the year, like right in the pandemic, actually, the end of the year in 2020, when I started recording the material that I was like, okay, I'm going to put this out sometime next year. I didn't know how I was going to release it, but I recorded it all toward the end of the year. And then we had another lockdown, and where I was at the time, it was in the UK. We had another lockdown. And so I actually just decided in that moment to kind of like fully move to Vancouver. It was a lot of back and forth until that point. But it was like, okay, let's just move to Vancouver. And then I guess the rest is I just came to Vancouver with these songs, and things started developing from there.
Okay, so you had recorded everything actually before you came over to Vancouver here then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know how things have been here in British Columbia, but you mentioned that you were going through things shutting down and otherwise over in the UK as well, sort of that off and on again. So with the recording process for this album, were you able to get into the studio to work on things? Because I see that you worked with a couple different producers to bring this album to life.
Yeah. So luckily, I was, it was only two people. I've known them for a decade each, as far as just like friends. Started working with them in like musical capacities, later on in our friendship. But I was able to actually get into their studios, and they had reduced who they were working with, and so it was socially distanced and wearing masks, and luckily one of them had a big enough studio so where I could do the whole session in another room, and then when it was like in full lockdown, we were able to do stuff over Zoom. Some of the bits that didn't require us to be face to face. So, really got comfortable with Zoom sessions and transferring files, transferring vocals, things like that. So yeah, it was a lot of just making do with what we had to get the songs done.
Quite a bit of adapting then, a little bit of remote recording, a little bit of studio then.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, of course, you mentioned you bring these songs back to Vancouver, and in the beginning of 2021 here, you sort of had an announcement that you had the opportunity to connect, to work with the incredible team at 604 Records. So what was it like to, A, not only sign with one of the top independent labels in North America, and B, just how did they help to elevate this new releases compared to maybe some of your previous work?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's like it's impossible, like millions of people want to be want to have like support from a record label, and I wasn't going to stop what I was doing, but I never thought like, okay, a label was going to pick me out of everybody, and want to actually help. And so it was just more than a dream come true. And I've got on my bio that family and then 604, and genuinely, like, I know people kind of sometimes say like my family, but genuinely it actually really feels like a family. From the beginning, I actually started speaking with Kessie Smith first. And she's such a strong, like super powerful, really, really humble woman, who kind of heard my music and really heard me, asked me about my story, and and then kind of took everything kind of up the chain. And within weeks I got an offer, and it was it was just like I couldn't even believe it. And then what they've done to elevate the project, I mean, they're such a notable label. We've been able to get the right PR around it, and also some of the things that I just would not have had the opportunity to do. Like, I was able to write, direct, and star in a short film series that went alongside this. And so being able to kind of give me that creative freedom and flexibility to be able to not just get like a videographer and a director and have them, but just to believe in my creativity, in my work. I picked all the songs that were going to go on the project, and it kind of really just let me be like fully in control of all the creative stuff, which is what everyone wants when they sign with a label, but then not everybody gets that when they sign to a label. So, when people say like, yeah, we're really artist friendly, but then sometimes they're not. 604 like legitimately are artist friendly, and I think that if you're someone who is ready and hungry and organized and equipped, they're an amazing label, like to support, because that's exactly what they do. Is they're just very supportive.
Well, fantastic to hear that, and to hear that they have helped to bring this vision, your vision, to life, and they allowed you to bring exactly the vision that you wished to do. So, of course, you mentioned that directorial debut, and I'd love to dive into that. But first, I want to dive into a couple of the tracks that have came our way from this new mixtape, The Florist. And of course, our first taste of The Florist, it came to us in July, of 2021 here with the double single 9 in Helium. And I would love to dive into 9, which is just this fantastic track. Like, the chorus to this song is just like, I love it. What does the song mean to you, Mauvey?
I mean, I think, it's just a love story for them together. The two songs together are just basically just like, a love story. And, it's kind of all is kind of explained in that chorus, like, you are mine. Face to face to face, you said goodbye. 4 + 5 clouds in the sky, I'm on the 9. So it's just this like, the ultimate kind of feeling in love. But realistically as well, when you really dive into the lyrics, it's actually quite a sad song too, but I think that with love, it's not just cut and dry. It's not just fairy tales. There's fairy tales, but then there's also like reality as well. And And yeah, with Nine specifically, what I had in mind when I wrote Nine was the story of the Florist, which again we're going to talk about later. But yeah, just about a guy whose head's in the clouds, and he kind of is just falls super strong for this lady, and we don't actually fully know whether it's reciprocated or not, which is kind of cool.
Hmm. Yeah, no, and I love how visually you brought that to life, like the whole like in the clouds and like like how just the riding the bike at the beginning and then riding the bike in the clouds and then just how like when she opens the door and like blown away and like just the imagery that you were able to like bring to life with this song, and just all of the songs that you sort of made videos for too, is just absolutely amazing as well.
Thank you. Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Awesome, of course. And before we dive into that directorial experience too, Nine was our first taste of this little short movie, and possibly my favorite song off of the album here, which also happened to be the fourth song. The completion to this short movie journey also happened to come with a To Rush. So before we dive into the visual side of things, take us a little bit behind the audio for To Rush. What energy were you trying to capture in this song?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, I wanted to kind of pay a bit of homage to, where I'm from in the UK. Like one of the biggest genres is like drill music, and but I'm not a drill artist or like in particular a rapper. So I kind of put my own spin on drill. I kind of like, put those kind of like gritty, like big vocals at the beginning. And then kind of like came in with that kind of like drill beat, like a little bit after, to kind of like, I guess to kind of perk the ears up a little bit. But yeah, so I guess, for me, it was just an opportunity to introduce a genre of music that I actually like listening to. And just with everything in the Mauvey project is, I'm like purposefully eclectic. Like that's part of the Mauvey experience. It's not because I'm indecisive or I don't know who I am. Like I am eclectic. So that's why across the whole project there's so many different feels and genres and tastes, because it's just truly who I am.
Mm-hmm. Well, as human beings, there's so much to life, and it's just like where some people like you can't be happy all the time. So it's just there's got to be different ways to express yourself.
100%, yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, so with this project, I tried to explain different facets of love. With the short film, I tried to, which we'll talk about in a second. I tried to, describe different facets of love. With the genres of music, I can't talk about. For me, if I want to talk about different parts of the same thing, and then I do it all in, like pop, all in with an acoustic guitar through the whole project. Yes, you might hear different words, but the feel is the same. Wanting to kind of, deliver something as it's meant to be, which is like there's changes, there's ebbs, there's flows, there's highs, there's lows, and so there's going to be different genres to come with it too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I love that. I love that very, very much. And one thing that I have also very much enjoyed that we have discussed a little bit is that directorial debut, this short movie that helped to bring these songs, The Florist, to life. And it definitely has those ebbs and flows, those ups and downs as well. So what was it like to sort of put yourself in new shoes, to sort of step behind the visual world as opposed to the audio world?
It was, I was quite nervous because, like I'm a storyteller in my songs. So like I'm comfortable writing songs. I've written a novel series as well. So like I've written like a 4-part novel series. So I'm like really comfortable with like poetry and like literature um and songs. But my dream, honestly, for like 15 years is to be a director, like a film director. And I've been so scared to actually do anything in that direction at all that it's still just a dream. So, yeah, I'm going to turn these novels that I've written into film, or I'm going to direct this, I'm going to do that. And I just way too scared to do it. So I never did. But I really pushed myself this time to be like, okay, I actually have the opportunity. I have the funding. I have like literally the actual opportunity to do this. So I kind of just like really sucked it up and thought like, you've got this amazing opportunity to be signed to a label, and your work, whatever it is going to be seen and heard. So this is the opportunity to actually, put your intentions actually out there. So yeah, I was very, very nervous, but it was like the best thing that I've ever done. Really hard, being both a co-director and then, acting and playing 5 parts in the series. And actually, it was my acting debut. So I never did any sort of acting before. So just kind of on stage, and that's not really acting. That's just me being myself. So like, it was, yeah, to get into the mind of these characters who were all so vastly different. That was quite a challenge. But I know the characters so intimately. Like I wrote the story, and I'm obsessed over it. So I knew what the characters needed to be, and I just needed to actually just execute.
So that's another challenge that I didn't even realize that you hadn't acted before. So not only were you directing and sort of adding that completely new aspect, but at the same time, you're trying to think of bringing these characters to life and like exactly just how to vividly do that in a short period of time.
Yeah, like a short period of time physically, because the pieces are like 3 minutes long, 4 minutes, and then a short period of time because I didn't have months to prepare. Like I literally did not have months. I signed in May. The first single came out in July, and we started filming in July. And then I had to film. I filmed all 4 in between July and August. So it was. I wrote it, and then just immediately try to get into character and into the characters. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but yeah, I'm very proud of the end product.
Mm-hmm. As you absolutely should be. So I have to ask, is that being sort of your first step into this world, what was the reception sort of like to this directorial debut from the fans, from the listeners?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've only heard good things. I feel like, I mean, maybe some people don't like it, but they haven't haven't told me about it. I think I've been shocked at how well it's been received, and by like my peers and people in the film world as well. So people who do this for a living are very impressed with like the quality, and yeah, and then surprised that I did all the different roles. I co-produced, co-directed, acted in it, and set design. So I was actually involved in every single process, even like casting. So it was a great, jump into the deep end sort of scenario, and I got a lot of great feedback, and that's just it just kind of really spurs you on and fills you with confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to hear that for sure. And of course, we are coming up to the end of 2021, a year that you mentioned. Some incredible things have happened inside of this new mixtape, your directorial debut. You got to go back and tour Europe. You got to play inside of Toronto for the first time. All of these amazing things. So what are some other new things that maybe you're trying to do? What does 2022 hold for Mauvey?
Yeah, so 2022, I'm working on it right now to take my live show to like a whole new level. My live show is probably the strongest thing that I have to offer. And, I'm really just trying to, I want everyone who comes to see me play next year to get their money's worth. Like I really want it, to be an experience. So I'm working on developing that. I am working on, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say, but I'm going to be releasing my debut album actually in late October next year. So I'm in Germany right now. I've already started with recording it. I've been working on it for the last year, so putting all the pieces together, and now I'm like, all of these kind of like notes and like anecdotes and stories and experiences that I've kind of gathered throughout this whole journey and my whole life. I'm putting into to this album that it's going to be out at the end of next year, and putting all the ideas around it. I'm actually going to be shooting a feature film. So going straight from short film to feature film, and I'll be directing that as well, and also starring in it. And that's going to accompany the album. And then I'm hoping to just play a lot of shows. Like I'm pretty sure right now that I'm going to be playing South by Southwest and Isle of Wight Festival in the UK, and just a lot of different festivals. I will be going on tour again. Firstly, for sure in April, and that'll be in the UK. And I'm waiting on my Canadian dates for touring over there. And so just a lot of shows, a very, very busy schedule. We just kind of wrapped up what we were going to do a few weeks ago, and it's from now it's already really, really busy. So album beginning part of the year, then back to Canada for a few shows and opportunities, and then States for South by Southwest, and England for the tour, and just going to be back and forth. So it's going to be very busy. But my first single off of the album, the new album, is actually going to be out in May. That's going to be the first, everyone's first kind of listen to it. And I think we're not going to be announcing the album coming out until maybe April or something like that. But I don't know yet. Maybe in March in the States. But just a lot of different things going on next year. And I'm going to be continuing to work with a lady called Amy from a brand called Ization. She makes all my stage outfits, and I design most of them with her. So we're working on trying to make 150 custom pieces for appearances and live shows next year. So that's going to be taking a few weeks to design everything, and I can't draw, so my sketches are terrible. Then I send everything to her, and then we kind of get on some production meetings and figure out how it's all going to be worked together. And then and she has a big task ahead of her to get her team to make everything. So that's going to be an exciting element as well. Just really trying to take my stage show and the looks that I'm going to be wearing in appearances more seriously as well. So that's a long answer. Sorry.
No worries at all. For those who want to stay up to date with all of these incredible things that are going to be going down from Mauvey, best way to do it, follow him on your favorite social media platforms so that you do not miss out, because you just heard it. There's going to be a lot going on. And I have had a blast chatting so far today, Mauvey. I have one last question. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so we have talked about this debut mixtape, The Florist, making your debut directorial work with this short movie, this short film that encapsulated 4 of the tracks off of this, all of the incredible work that went into this. And what I would like to know now is, how has this process, this time, how has it helped you grow as a person, or what has it taught you about yourself?
Yeah, it's really just taught me that I've got capacity for more. Um, you know, I'm really looking forward to just taking the confidence that I've gained from this year into next year, and just know that, like, hey, you know what, like, when you didn't think that you could direct something and you came out the other end and you directed it, you didn't think you could act in something and then you came out the other end and you did that. So it's just kind of given me that kind of like, I've got capacity for more. So I'm really going to push myself with this album, and not settle and make a project that is like, that I'm very, very proud of. And just that if I can continue with that, the confidence that I gained from the experience of, like, putting together, an eclectic mixtape, putting together a short film, and touring, all while doing in a pandemic. I feel like anything's possible.
Hey, very, very true. Sometimes we doubt ourselves, and it's we can do that very much. But at the end of the day, when you really apply yourself, when you really want something, when you chase your dreams, anything is truly possible.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for sharing this lesson and the story of The Florist here with us today, Mauvey, on the Desert Tiger Podcast.
Thanks, you guys.